Here, as promised, is a narration of chapter 10, Kapitel 10. But before I start with this topic, I had said in class that we're ahead of the game with grammar. To reinforce that, I want to say the next 6 chapters of grammar are minor topics. I repeat, each and every one of what we're going to look at in the next month is less important to the foundations of German reading than the first 9 to 10 chapters that you've done. So pat yourselves on the back with that. You're doing so much, and I'm really seeing great results. I'm pleased with that. The present participle is formed by adding die to this infinitive form of a noun. So sterben, to die, becomes sterbend, the dying forest, or fließen, the flowing water, fließend. Here it is entscheiden, becomes entscheidend, deciding. All German infinitives can be turned into a present participle, creating many forms that later on you'll see in dependent clauses in English. Not the German, but the English can be a dependent clause, such as this last one would become the moment that was decisive for such and such. Now, that was decisive is a dependent clause. Right here, 4 more examples of present participles. Eine alleinstehende Mutter. Sie steht allein. And this is a compound used of standing alone or living on her own, in this case, being independent. Second example, das antwortende Kind, the child that is answering or who is answering. Der im Wald stehende Bär, the bear that's standing in the woods. There's one where you have this as a dependent clause in English. It's not needed in this case in German because of the gerund, or, gerund is how we often refer to that in English, but let's call it present participle, stehende. Don't worry about the adjective endings. Remember that from last week. I told you not to. Last case, ein auf dem Boden liegender Baum. This is complex structure. Don't worry if it seems a bit evasive for now. It's fine. Present and past participles will occur frequently as adjectives. Look at these cases here. When used as attributive adjectives preceding a noun, such as you have with bedroht and Tier being the noun, both past participles, bedrohte, and the present participle, fließend or fließendes, have endings in accordance with the outline for adjective endings that we did last chapter. Moving on, gerunds or present participles can be used as adverbs as opposed to adjectives. So fließend is modifying how well I speak German. Ich spreche fließend Deutsch. Dringend is a gerund, but used as an adverb there to say how urgently the help is needed there, nötige Hilfe. And überraschend. When you say, boy, that was surprising, you have to say überraschend. Here it's modifying the high prices, so adverbial. As for the meaning of some participles, remember that nouns modified by a present participle are doing something. So the noun Kind is doing this in English. Das schlafende Kind, the child who is sleeping. The woman who is writing, the writing woman of books. And finally, die blühende Blume. Oh, sounds like poetic. The blossoming flower, eine Blume. In plural, let's just throw one out in there for good measure, a plural. Die blühenden want to guess the ending? Blumen, good. I've decided not to cover this slide. You can do so if you wish to by following along in your textbook. Here we see a capital B, right? Well, it's become a noun. Like all German adjectives, participles can function as nouns In this case, they're capitalized and inflected like other adjectives, but it's called das Berichtete, the reported, whatever was reported, confirmed, hat bestätigt, everything. What was reported confirmed everything. Next one, das Folgende. This is going to be a lot more common in German. The following confirms what has already been said. So bestätigen again, but our gerund is das Folgende. Der Verwundete, die Schlafenden. This is only a female because it would be die Schlafenden if it were the sleeping ones, those little kids maybe. Der Sterbende, the dying one. That's pretty sad. Der Gestorbene, oh my gosh, even more sad. Sorry. Next slide and we're almost finished. Make that smaller for you. Im Text besprechen wir eine arbeitende Frau und dann eine nicht arbeitende. This is just saying that you can leave out that noun if it's already been confirmed or affirmed that this is the thing that is working, the person here that is working. So it's not the nicht arbeitende Frau, but the arbeitende Frau. And last but not least, in dieser Zeit blühte das Denken. It's getting to the point that infinitives used as nouns are always neuter. The thinking, the singing, there's the singing, das Rauchen, the smoking, and trinken, both are forbidden. And we're done. Like I said, it'll be very interesting to see how much more we can focus on reviewing the first chapters of grammar as alongside what we learn as new topics as we do our next online sessions. So I very much look forward to that. Have a great weekend.